Evening, everybody. It's 5:30 on Tuesday, the 31st, last day of May. Tomorrow's a new month. Friday's unemployment numbers. Not really looking to be very exciting one way or the other. And hey, it's essentially summer. Okay, so the market was kind of interesting today in that it was almost an identical setup as we had last week. Excuse me, last week being we had a good strong day going on Monday. We had the snap news after the close that took the market down, but it did not hold to the downside, and we had an up over 6% week because of that. Today we had a little bit of catch up from the weekend from the futures, and we were down over 400. We were down about 250 at the open, and we worked down to over 400. And then later in the day, we had a slow but steady rally all the way back to actually unchanged. I was a little bit disappointed in the Dow and the S&P because they both sold off into the close. And when I say into the close, I mean the last 15 minutes. Um, and we closed down 222 on the Dow, but that was still over mid-range. It was the same situation with the S&P. It was down about 60, and it closed down 26. What was more interesting was the Nasdaq, which closed down only 49.74, 0.4%, and the advanced declines were only 3 to 2 to the downside, and it closed about 7/8 of the way up on the range. I think this is really good action. We had every reason in the world for the market to head back down, but it appears that we are probably still, unless something overwhelming happens, going to work our way back up to the 42 to 4300 on the cash S&P. After the close, we had earnings from Salesforce, CRM. The stock had closed 160.24, down 486. And then after the close, with the numbers, which were not great, but were not as bad as expected. And also, let's remember that the stock was down 38% from the high. The stock traded down as low as 154 and then turned right back up and traded up to 173.40. The last on it right now is 172.35, up 7.25 or 4.4%. That is particularly good action for a fairly major Dow stock. Ambarella also had earnings, also a bit of a miss. The stock is currently trading 79.67, down 5.55 or 6.5%. This one has moved from 50 up to 225 and now cut back by 2/3. The problems here are cost and availability of product, and so that's what's harming Ambarella. They do a lot of semiconductor for automobiles. Unrelated to earnings, we had Nelson Peltz getting a seat on Unilever. Peltz has a really good reputation with food and packing companies. I think he owns a relatively small position. I think it's just under 2%. But Unilever is a huge company, so 2% of Unilever is pretty decent. The stock has fallen since the first of the year from about 55, 54 and three quarters actually, to a low of close yesterday or Friday, 43.98, and today was up a solid 10%, 48.33, up 4.35. Chart on the screen is the oil, and we did break out and we did head right up to 120, 119.98, but there was a lot of talk about Russia and the possibility of seeing um, more oil being pumped from some of our sort of friends. And it came all the way back down. It closed down 40 cents. Not really terribly concerned about it. We just came in the last 3 days from 110 to 120. I think a pullback in here is just fine. Gold was down 890. Bitcoin and Ethereum both up. They were up all weekend. They were up yesterday, and today the Bitcoin was up 31,650, which was up just short of 3,000. A pretty nice move for it. Took it from closing on Friday below the 5-day moving average to closing above the 20-day moving average on the day. I'm not sure how far it's going to go. I would expect to see some fairly serious resistance in the 33 to 34,000 range. What was interesting to me here was that although Bitcoin was up 9.8%, Ethereum, let's take a look at that one. Ethereum was, oops, sorry, didn't mean to put up the euro. Let's go back. Ethereum was up 186.5, which was up 10.7%. So Ethereum was up more than Bitcoin, and yet the Ethereum Trust, ETHE, underperformed the GBTC. The Ethereum Trust was all over the place, and there's a misprint here on the GBTC close, but it was up about 10%, and the Ethereum one was really falling behind. Okay, tomorrow we have, I just wanted to mention the grains just got crushed today. Down 24 in the corn, down the 50 in the soybeans, wheat, hard wheat, spring wheat, all down pretty much the limit. Okay, so tomorrow we have mortgage apps, no big deal, probably be lower by 8 or 10%. IHS manufacturing PMI, we have the JOLTS, we have the April consumer spending, construction spending, the Fed's beige book, and I just want to mention consumer confidence reported at around 10 o'clock today, 106.5. That's down from 108.6. All right, everyone, I'll be back first thing in the morning. Hope you had a good day, and I still think this market has a ways to go on the upside.